Hey guys, Cosmic CTF here, and welcome to a brand new video where today, I just want to talk about, sorry for uploading so much recently. Like, I made 2 videos yesterday, or the day before I think, which was the Minecraft video and then the kid getting charged with assault over the dodgeball incident. That was on Sunday, those were uploaded. But there's been so much going on recently with Modern Warfare, obviously, which is what this video is about. Obviously, I've been really enjoying playing Minecraft, and you guys seem to have really been enjoying. The views are actually pretty decent, considering I've only got 17 subscribers. But yeah, today's video is going to be about something very different than just normal talking about Modern Warfare news. We're going to be talking about an article, because if you guys don't know, in the game, there's a kill streak called White Phosphorus, which is basically a chemical weapon, and it drops out of a plane, similar to the napalm strike from Black Ops 1, and basically this fire goes around, and it's white fire sort of thing. It's slightly a cross between the napalm and the signal flare from World at War, because it's this like white fire across the map and it disorientates the enemy. Like, if they look at it, they get that bright burning effect that you get in World at War, and also I think they added it in World War II, the signal flare as well. So basically it gives you this disorientation effect where a bright light will basically hinder you from moving. You'll be coughing, so you move slower, all that sort of stuff. But if you get too close to it, like the napalm strike, it will set fire to you and your character will die, basically. Now, this is similar to what it does in real life. Basically, the white phosphorus reacts with oxygen in the air and it combusts. So, white phosphorus has been used a lot in warfare. America has used it on the IS, basically. So, white phosphorus has actually been used in warfare quite a lot. America seems to have a lot of it. They use it on the Islamic State in Syria and all that. And the unfortunate thing is with that, it does affect civilians, because the chemical can lie on the ground for weeks or months, long after battles have ended, and they can recombust, which is absolutely horrifying and tragic when it happens. But the problem is, it's war. A lot of tragic and horrible things happen. Despite what the media and films portray it as, war is an absolutely horrifying thing where so many atrocities happen, such as massacres, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons. For example, in World War II, the US dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, one on Hiroshima, which was expected to kill between 19,000 and 146,000 people, to Nagasaki, which killed between 39,000 to 80,000 people. But despite this, whenever Call of Duty includes a nuke kill streak, like in Modern Warfare 2 with the tactical nuke, or in Infinite Warfare with the deatomizer, was it? Nobody cares, because it's a fucking video game. But this is a prime example of the media just complaining about video games because it fits their political agenda. If you don't know, a lot of people who report the news don't really understand video games, and whenever they see something slightly controversial, like they see this white phosphorus kill streak in Call of Duty, they're like, oh wow, this is distracting people from the true horrors of white phosphorus used in the Middle East. When in actuality, it's not doing it, because it's a video game. You're not actively going out and saying, oh yes, I'm going to bomb a bunch of civilians. No, because you're playing in a multiplayer sandbox, as I said in my extra credits video. You're playing in a multiplayer sandbox, and you're using this white phosphorus kill streak because it is used in real warfare, and they want to be as close to the source material as humanly possible. So the article we're taking a look at today is from GameSpot, which is obviously a game reporting media like Charlie Intel or Kotaku, but the title of the article is, "We saw white phosphorus in action in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Here's what happened." Then you got a wee subtitle which says, "Is authenticity worth it?" In the days before its multiplayer reveal for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the game drew a new line of criticism. The derision arose from the inclusion of a chemical weapon called white phosphorus in the game. During Infinity Ward's press event, in which we got hands-on with Modern Warfare's multiplayer, we saw white phosphorus in action from a place on the game's battlefield. White phosphorus is a weapon sometimes used by the US military. mostly to blanket an area in harsh white smoke to obscure visibility and make it hard for infantry on the ground to continue fighting. But the weapon is also horrific in its real-world uses. White phosphorus ignites when it comes into contact with oxygen, and it burns incredibly hot. Coming into contact with it can melt skin and burn through both muscle and bone. The US has drawn criticism for using white phosphorus during the war in Iraq and while fighting the Islamic State. Human rights organisations point to the fact that, especially in urban areas, white phosphorus can be incredibly dangerous to civilians. The chemical is unpredictable and can reignite days or even weeks after its use, potentially injuring non-combatants long after a battle is done. As NPR reports, white phosphorus is legal under the Chemical Weapons Convention, so long as it's used to camouflage movement and not as a weapon. In modern warfare, white phosphorus is a kill streak reward, a special weapon you can access when you earn a long enough streak beating opponents without dying. Here's Modern Warfare's description of a white phosphorus kill streak. Cover the battlefield with white smoke flare canisters that will disorientate the enemy and burn any that wander too close. So basically what they're doing here is setting up the argument, which you can already tell it's going to be, oh, this has real life horrific uses. We can't include it in a video game, which, I'm just going to say something. Guns have real life horrific uses. People use them for massacres. Doesn't stop them being in video games, does it? And then again, nuclear weapons. They have had absolutely horrific uses in warfare. Obviously, we've only used them twice. We've used them on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as I mentioned earlier in this video. But, even without using them in the warfare, we know the effects. Have you heard of Chernobyl? Fukushima, was it? Yeah, all this radiation leaks out into the surroundings and fucking destroys the life there. People have to leave if they want to survive because... So when a nuclear warhead goes off, the vast majority of the radiation emitted is gamma radiation, which are not even in fact particles like alpha or beta. They are waves and are part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So basically what happens is the gamma rays hit your body and they attack, because these waves are so small, they attack the atoms, and they do this by ripping the electrons from their orbits, which basically ionizes them. So these ionized atoms are then in your DNA, and they start to change things and damage and break the DNA, which basically can either cause two things: permanent cell damage, or it can cause the cells to start mutating rapidly and give you what we call a tumor. So remind me how this white phosphorus kill streak is such a huge deal when nobody batted an eye back in 2009 when Call of Duty includes a nuclear bomb as one of their kill streaks, which, as I just mentioned before, causes all these effects. While obviously in the Middle East, this white phosphorus stuff has caused absolutely tragic circumstances. But Infinity Ward were basically going for an authentic multiplayer experiences which uses real-world weapons, no matter how controversial or dangerous they are, to show people this is how warfare affects people, which is a very good idea because a lot of people have this romanticized vision of war, which is obviously not how it is, because the second you get onto that battlefield, you can be killed at almost a minute's notice. You could be sniped, you could have a chemical weapon used on you, you could just die in the most painful and horrific ways, and you will see the most painful and horrific things, which is why Infinity Ward is trying to present that in their campaign. As I just said, that's in the campaign, but I'm going to read a little bit more of the article on what the Infinity Ward dev said, and this will explain, the last bit of this article paragraph will explain why the white phosphorus is going to be a kill streak, as well as I mentioned at the start of the video, to provide a authentic and accurate battleground for the players to fight in, because as I said in my extra credits video, you have World War II to get, and you use the factions to provide an authentic experience. Now, in modern warfare, they use a lot of chemical weapons to mass troop movements, and in some cases to hurt people, as even though it is illegal, people will still do it, because when do laws prevent people from committing certain crimes? So Basically what it's doing, using this kill streak, is providing a accurate battlefield and how warfare is nowadays. But there is another reason why Infinity Ward has done this, and I am going to read that in the article now. Art director Joel Emsile said during the Infinity Ward press event that Infinity Ward is trying to make Modern Warfare a realistic game by employing real-world weapons, equipment, and technology. He also pointed out that the multiplayer trailer shown to journalists ended with something that has appeared in Call of Duty games as a kill streak reward before, a detonating nuclear bomb. And while Infinity Ward is trying to unify the Call of Duty experience across its single-player, multiplayer, and cooperative modes, Emsile said, ultimately, each is working toward different goals. As he said, they are trying to unify and create a similar universe for both the multiplayer and the campaign, as well as Spec Ops. But this is where it comes in. They say they're going for different goals, which is obvious, because the campaign is meant to tell a gritty and realistic story, which is meant to be obviously entertaining, but also informative to people about how warfare is nowadays. But the multiplayer is meant to use that authentic experience presented in the campaign, but then present it in an arcadey way that people can have fun. If you're just so offended that Call of Duty would have a weapon in it, or a kill streak, that would cause devastating human loss in real life, why the fuck are you playing Call of Duty? Because everything in that game has something that would cause devastating loss to human life and war tragedies, because war is fucking horrific. Everything in war, you can do some absolutely horrible stuff with just the tools you are given. Like, you're given fucking guns, which is a bullet, one single bullet is enough to kill someone. The thing is, though, 95% of the people who are making stuff and getting offended over this shit won't even be playing the game anyway, so why should we listen to what their opinion is and just let us have our fun? We're not actually out here. We don't actually think that people who are affected by this thing, this white phosphorus in real life, just fucking don't exist, because this is just a tool in a video game. We know that this has real world implications. As Infinity Ward said, they're trying to create an authentic multiplayer experience, And the people playing this game are not going to the people playing this game will understand that white phosphorus has devastating human uses, devastating uses in war, but how the fuck does that mean that it can't be included in a video game about those situations? So I just don't get it. That's going to be it for today's video here, guys. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. These people are just perpetually offended and finding anything to be offended at, and anything to, suit their political agenda, that they hate video games, and video games are evil, they make people into violent, sociopathic killers, and that using this kill streak in the game somehow disrespects the people who have been affected by this chemical weapon in the past. Now, that's going to be it for today's video here. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like and subscribe. My dog's barking at fucking nothing again. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next